Thomas Porteous, and you're watching Deep Dive on NewsX World. Today, we will be examining one of the biggest markers of a global shift back to realpolitik as America rolled out the red carpet for Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman 7 years after the killing of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Now, let's move on. Here's a map of the Middle East, possibly the most fraught and divided region in the world, home to approximately 27 to 30% of the world's crude oil supply, with up to 40% of its proven conventional oil reserves. The region is effectively divided between the two blocks of power defining modern geopolitics: the West, led by the United States of America, and the East, led by Russia and China. Since 1996, 6 of the 17 countries in the Middle East have been designated as a key ally of the United States. These include Jordan, Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, and as of this week, Saudi Arabia. Last week's designation of Saudi Arabia as a major non-NATO ally of the USA comes full circle on America's grand plan to integrate the Middle East into its circle of influence, using access to its advanced technology and defense manufacturing as the key levers to gain influence in the Middle East, while pulling key allies of the Russia, China, Iran axis away from their orbits. Let's listen in to what US President Donald Trump had to say when conferring this designation on Saudi Arabia.
But when you really think about it, Your Majesty, I think that this is the best in terms of safety. Saudi Arabia has never been as safe as it is right now. You always had a little cloud over your head, and sometimes that cloud was very big. That cloud is not there anymore, and we want to keep it that way. So that's why tonight I'm pleased to announce that we're taking our military cooperation to even greater heights by formally designating Saudi Arabia as a major non-NATO ally, which is something that is very important to them. And I'm just telling you now for the first time, because I wanted to keep a little secret for tonight. I just heard him say, "Oh, that's nice." That's another point you won today. And signing a historic strategic defense agreement, which we just signed a little while ago. So congratulations, it's South Carolina.
Now, in this context, it is important to understand the reasons behind the Saudi pivot. Saudi Arabia has resisted a formal designation of allyship with the NATO powers for decades, actively engaging with China and Russia while balancing ties with the West. With the details signed by President Trump and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman in Washington, Riyadh has now firmly joined the orbit of Western influence, trading China-backed security for America F-35 fighter jets and NVIDIA Blackwell systems. However, this doesn't completely remove Russia and China from Saudi Arabia's orbit, particularly given Saudi Arabia's membership of BRICS Plus, which puts the country into a position to deal with Russia and China as convenient. For Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, now the de facto ruler of Saudi Arabia, this visit gives impetus to his plan for the kingdom to move beyond fossil fuels. He realizes that oil cannot power the Middle East into the future and is betting on future-proofing his country's revenue with entertainment, transshipment, and artificial intelligence. It also marks a significant shift in the perception of Saudi Arabia among the Western powers, with the American president himself defending Crown Prince Salman when questioned about human rights in the kingdom. Let's take a listen in.
As far as this gentleman is concerned, he's done a phenomenal job. You're mentioning somebody that was extremely controversial. A lot of people didn't like that gentleman that you're talking about. Whether you like him or didn't like him, things happen. But he knew nothing about it, and we can leave it at that. You don't have to embarrass our guest by asking a question like that.
So what are these deals signed by US President Donald Trump and the Saudi Crown Prince actually about? On the defense front, the US has approved the sale of F-35 Lightning II stealth fighter jets to Saudi Arabia. This, coupled with the designation of Saudi Arabia as a major non-NATO ally, unlocks priority access for the kingdom to US military surplus, cooperative research and expedited arms processing. However, the sale of F-35 jets is also reportedly conditional, with provisions for strict end-use monitoring to ensure that the technology is not exposed to Chinese engineers. Also, part of the defence pivot is a strategic defence agreement, which institutionalises the relationship in formal terms. This agreement will see the sale of almost 300 advanced M1 Abrams tanks to Saudi Arabia, as well as a new burden-sharing mechanism where Saudi Arabia will pay the USA a premium to defray US costs for regional security. It will also allow US military access to Saudi logistical hubs, which could be crucial in terms of access to the region for the US military. The leaders have also signed a memorandum of understanding with regards to artificial intelligence technology, giving Saudi Arabia access to high-performance US-developed semiconductor chips from the likes of AMD and NVIDIA. Elon Musk's xAI has also signed a commercial agreement with the Saudi state-backed AI firm Humane to build a massive AI data center in the kingdom, powered by Saudi energy and run by American algorithms. Now, in exchange, Saudi Arabia has agreed to divest from sensitive Chinese tech infrastructure in its core networks. Other deals signed by the two leaders include a civil nuclear cooperation declaration, which is a legal framework to aid the development of civilian nuclear reactors in the kingdom. Now, according to reports, the US beat out competition from China and South Korea to sign with Saudi Arabia and has included gold standard non-proliferation clauses to prevent weaponization. Crown Prince bin Salman has also announced an increase in Saudi investments commitments from $600 billion to a whopping $1 trillion US. This investment is set to bolster semiconductor manufacturing infrastructure in the United States. Moreover, a key announcement was the missing, amid all the excitement, was in regards to the Abraham Accords. Reports have indicated that the Saudi prince remains steadfast on his condition to join the Abraham Accords, saying that full diplomatic normalization of ties with Israel hinge on a clear, irreversible path to a Palestinian state. Joining us for a deeper conversation on all of this is Zafar Sureshwala. He's a Saudi businessman and former chancellor of Assad National Urdu University. He joins us live from Mumbai. Thank you very much for joining us here on NewsX World. It's a pleasure to have you on the program. Now, this new AI and technology deals with the United States come with explicit conditions requiring a partial decoupling from Chinese tech infrastructure. Now, as a businessman, how do you weigh the immediate competitive advantages of gaining access to cutting-edge US chips and software against the long-term risks and costs of restricting partnerships with China, especially in a market like Saudi Arabia?
We have set up our financial services business in Riyadh, and I've been traveling to Saudi Arabia for the past almost 30 years. But the change which is being seen in last 5 to 7 years is phenomenal. And I've been meeting their ministers, their people in the ministry, in top companies. I mean, they have got the best brains of the world. In fact, even the Saudis who are there now, they're all highly educated. I mean, the way they've opened up is unbelievable. And recently, just last week, a high-powered delegation led by Mr. Khalid Al-Fali, His Excellency. Khalid Al-Fali, who's the Minister of Investment, they were here in India. 40 top businesses. And they were in Delhi, in Mumbai, and they also were in Visakhapatnam. So the things now happening in Saudi Arabia is phenomenal. And I think they know exactly how to balance. I mean, they are very smart. And Saudis are not new in business. I mean, the Saudis and particularly the whole peninsula, the Arabian Peninsula, they have been doing business for thousands of years. So they exactly know. So they have, like for example, they have relationship with Pakistan, but they also have very deep relationship with India. That's different. India almost is now a strategic relationship. Lot of Indian companies are investing in Saudi Arabia. Lot of Saudi companies would be investing in India. So, and India and Pakistan, but they are balancing. So they exactly know how to balance it out. So I don't think it will have any problem the way they know exactly how to do the job.
Yeah, and now let's move on. This $1 trillion investment pledge into the United States is massive. Conversely, how does the new security guarantees, like the MNNA status and the F-35 sales, translate into tangible incentives for foreign direct investment into Saudi Arabia?
No, this huge foreign direct investment is coming in Saudi Arabia from across the world. I mean, I've been seeing this whenever I go. I mean, there is some delegation or the other from diverse countries because, the size of Saudi, their area, the population, and of course, as you were mentioning, the oil which they have a lot of other, natural resources. And if you see, for example, Jubail, the eastern coast, the industrial belt, I think it is one of the largest industrial belts in the world. So a foreign direct investment will definitely come. And lot of companies, particularly Indian and in this part of the world with the new tariff, which has come to a lot of countries put by the US administration, it would be much easier for them to have their manufacturing base in Saudi Arabia. In fact, when they were here last week, 3 or 4 large automobile companies are putting big plants in Saudi Arabia. So foreign direct investment and the way they are looking at, and particularly because I'm dealing with the Ministry of Investment, they are so fast and so easily accessible, unbelievable. They're so accessible. So I think, and then they have a very strong ideology about foreign direct investment coming into Saudi Arabia. See, they have very strong base in the oil sector, the tertiary after oil, in petrochemicals, in plastics, the downstream. So I think they have got the full base from oil to fabric, for example, oil and then PTA, DMT, so many things. So they have got the till downstream, everything. And then to provide that, lot of engineering companies are there. For example, pipe fitting, valve manufacturing, which I actually belong to a family which has been into manufacturing of industrial valves for almost 120 years. And the kind of valve manufacturer which I saw there was unbelievable.
Yes.
So they are sitting on it, and lot of companies from across the world are coming there.
Yeah, indeed. It's fascinating stuff. And moving on, and how does the United States shift perception of Saudi Arabia translate for the current geopolitical scenario?
See, you have to understand that Saudi Arabia has a very long relationship with US, almost 90 years. Since 1935, the US president, I forgot his name, he came there. He met King Abdul Aziz, the founder of the Saudi Arabia, I think in 1935, 1932. So they have very straightforward relationship with the US since almost 90 years. So, and now with with His Excellency, His Royal Highness, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, he has taken it to the next level. And his team is unbelievable. I mean, some of them I've met, the down the rain. And they have got one point agenda. They have got that 2030 where they want to, so, and this is happening not only in industry. Also tourism. The number of tourists which are coming to Saudi Arabia is unbelievable. Once upon a time, only for Hajj or that's Umrah, the small pilgrimage people used to come. But now people are spreading across, and in northern Saudi Arabia also, that Red Sea and all that, Neom. So I think Saudi Arabia is a place where people need to be. And I'm more concerned about the India relationship. And I can tell you that the Indian-Saudi relationship which we have now was never before. And of course, the kind of treatment which he got in the US just 2 days back was absolutely top class. I mean, I have not seen any other world leader getting this kind of red carpet by American administration, which they accorded to His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. And the whole, and next day, they had that US-Saudi, business forum.
Yes.
And I think every single American CEO who matters was there. From NVIDIA CEO to Elon Musk, everybody was there. So I think this shows the importance the Saudis have across the world now.
Yes. Zafar Sureswala, thank you very much for joining us on News Expert. It's a pleasure to get your insight. Well, that wraps up today's episode of Deep Dive. Keep watching News World for more things explained and international news updates. Thank you.